Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is gonna be a story time. For those of you who didn't know, I used to be a cigarette smoker. At one point I was smoking up to 40 cigarettes a day.
Stop it. Get some help.
So I'm gonna tell you the story, how I started and how I quit. So make sure you stay tuned. Hi guys, okay, welcome to my channel. Alright, Lord of mercy. So I used to be a cigarette smoker. You know, anytime anybody would see me, I always had a cigarette hanging out of my hand, and I just can't remember a time when I was younger that I wasn't smoking. Like I had a cigarette to, you know, celebrate. I had a cigarette if I was feeling sad, when I was feeling lonely. Like it was my companion. It was like, you know, this cigarette was my best friend.
My nigga.
Anyway, let me tell you how it all started. Daddy, I'm sorry for blaming you. I'm so sorry to blame you. So Daddy had a 40th birthday party at the house, and there was a nice little lawn area by the pool, and Mommy and Daddy put us to bed, right? So we were upstairs and we could look down and we see everybody, and this is back in like, was it about late 80s, 90s? So, you know, cigarette smoking, well cool. Everybody has smoke with them Farrah Fawcett hair. You know, it was puffs of smoke everywhere. So Tracy and I were looking down. You know, it looked really cool. So the next day, we were young. We were really young. You want to see me and Tracy in the grass? I pick up the cigarette them. As like we were smoking down the last two little smokes of cigarettes that were left. Like these are the butts that people throw away. Me and Tracy and I decided like some little cokeheads, right? Anyway, I'm sure I don't even think we're inhaling. We're just fooling around. We were very rude, you know, and I would encourage Tracy to do rude things. We were very rude, but I was really rude. Anyway, that was just fooling around. There was no addiction there. There was no nothing. That's just, you know, I guess my introduction to cigarettes. All right, as I got older now, lots of peer pressure. I find that nowadays, this is what, 2021, I don't see as many young people smoking cigarettes as I did back in the 90s. Like I really don't. Like, okay, maybe vaping I see, but it's still not as prevalent as how cigarette smoking would be. Like cigarette smoking was really, really cool, you know? And I remember, I'm not gonna say her name, but I remember she's a Chinese girl and she's attractive, but I just remember her elegant hands and how she would hold her cigarette, and she would be talking and the cigarette would be there, and I just thought it was so cool. Like I thought she was cool, and I remember like I don't even remember how come I was out, because my parents never let me out. Anyway, and I saw her and she's smoking, and I was like, yo, she looks really cool. I bet I could look cool too. So I go now with my money and go buy my pack of Rothmans. I believe when I started smoking, cigarettes were $70 Jamaican a pack, which is nothing. You can't even buy a one icy mint for $70 right now. So buy my cigarettes and I go out and I start puff and I guess they say the rest is history, because I just became a smoker and Rothmans was like my friend. Like, you know, I was one of those people where I'd actually buy an extra pack of cigarettes, because if you came to ask me, it wouldn't come out of my count for the night. You know, I would come home and I'd want to have a cigarette. I would teeth out Daddy's cigarettes. Definitely on the weekend, going to parties and stuff like that. And I think that started my handbag fetish, because I always had a wristlet. Even if you look now, Carnival Day, I always have a little bag. Like I have to have a bag. And it started because I needed somewhere to put my cigarettes. And at the time, I couldn't ask Sean, you know, you ask your boyfriend to hold your keys, this, that. I couldn't ask him to hold my keys, my lip gloss, my lighter, my cigarettes. Like, anyway, I had this little wristlet that I would keep everything in. And actually, I don't even think I was with Sean when no. Sean was later on. Couldn't ask my boyfriend to hold all of these things, right? So I have my wristlet and stuff. And I remember, this was more like smoking on the weekends while I'm out. Not really smoking at home. Maybe I'd smoke at home because I was on the phone, but it wasn't quite I had to smoke every day kind of thing. The cost of cigarettes kept going up and up. I remember that. And I remember when I first started smoking, there wasn't these huge, horrible warnings on the pack. It was just like, you buy a pack of cigarettes. And then I remember there's a difference between the Rothmans made in Trinidad versus the Rothmans made in England. And that's when I knew something was wrong. Like I could taste the difference in cigarettes. Anyway, in 1999, I went away to Denmark on student exchange. So that's where you go for a year, you're not allowed to come home, and you just immerse yourself in the culture. So I had a host mother and father, I had a host sister. I actually had two host sisters, one didn't live at the house. And I lived on a farm. And because my parents were very strict with me, when I went over there, I was kind of like, I can do whatever I want. Like, I don't need anybody telling me anything. Like, anyway, so I was smoking, and I'd be walking and smoking. I don't have to wonder about which auntie see me to report me. You could be at school smoking, which to me, I think I smoked at school because you could smoke at school. And yeah, so I just started this smoking thing, and it was really like a companion. I would go somewhere and I'm kind of just like waiting for someone, but you want to look cool while you wait, and the cell phone thing back then wasn't so. I really think cell phones have replaced smoking, because if you go somewhere and you feel a little antisocial, or if you feel like a little shy, or you don't know what you just go on your phone and pretend, oh my god, late again, I can't believe this, so irresponsible. Whereas before I'd kind of be like, I'm just out there having a break, I'm taking 2 minutes, like, yeah, just hanging out, waiting on somebody. So it more looks like for me, when I was smoking, it more looks like I'm out here taking a break, not that, oh, I'm a loser, I'm waiting on my friend and she's late kind of thing. Like, to me, that's what it kind of equated to. People would look at me and see me smoking and think, oh, big woman, should take her break, rather than, oh god, she's over there by herself, loser. So I think cigarettes to me were definitely a companion. So anyway, I was able to smoke as freely as I wanted to in Denmark. I was even able to smoke at home in front of my host parents, not in the house, but my host sister smoked, so we would smoke cigarettes together. And at one point, it got to the point where I was cutting the filters off my cigarettes, or my sister had like this kit. It was a lot cheaper to buy the tobacco, buy the rolling paper, and you just roll your own cigarettes. And I was like, yo, I was walking around with these rolled up cigarettes with no filter. I felt like a real, like a crackhead.
This shit good.
How you can be walking around with this? So it looked like, first of all, I was like, in my community, in my school, yes, in my school too, I was like the chocolate girl, I was one of the darker kids. And then everybody knew I was from Jamaica. I was, the student exchange from Jamaica. And then I'm walking around with these things that look like a spliff. And I was like, no, I have to address this. So I started buying back the cigarettes. Anyway, come home now in 2000, and I'm a big woman. So, I'm there lighting, puffing in front of mommy and daddy, and my father is a smoker, and my cousin smoked. At one point, my brother was smoking. So, of course, mommy was upset, and she did make a comment about it, but she didn't really do anything. Coming back home, there were times where I did try to quit smoking. So I would use a gum. I would use a patch. I'd use a patch, and you want to say, man, I scratched the patch to get more nicotine. Like, it was crazy. Like, honestly, I can't believe that cigarettes had such a hold on me. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, it was about 2000, and let me see what Timmy told me now. It was 2013. We went down to our country house in Trelawney, and my cousin had quit, and he quit using these tablets, and he was laughing and saying how, these tablets make him dream crazy and blah 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 blah. And we're really proud of him for quitting, because honestly, my cousin, like, he would smoke. I think he started off as a social smoker too, but I don't know, I just don't like to see guys smoking, especially young guys. Anyway, he quit and I was really happy about it. And then my brother now, he took the tablets and he was like, yo, you know, I'm trying to quit and you know, it's an extra expense that I don't really need, and you know, I just don't need all of this in my body. So he was telling me more about this tablet called Shampix. No, Shampix is like the brand name, and then there was one that we would get out here called Shantrix, and I guess it was like the generic version. Anyways, my brother would tell me all of these stories about all of these crazy dreams, and he would have to wake up half an hour earlier than he was supposed to take this tablet so that he could go through all of the weirdness. He said, you know, he'd have these weird dreams, he would just kind of zone out, so he'd wake up early to take his tablet so that, you know, he could get on with the rest of his day.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
It's like, okay, I never have side effects. Like, honestly, here I come, corona injection, because I never have a side effect to anything. Like, I'm always just like, you know, tough back. Anyway, so now I'm looking at Timmy and I'm looking at my cousin Kevin and I'm like, all right, well, Dave quit. Like, I want to quit too. Like, you know, I started looking and I see like a one wrinkle here from the top, and I'm like, that's not gonna work. And then I started to really look at myself, like, you know, just look at myself smoking, and I'm like, this doesn't look so great. My hair is always stinky. You know, sometimes I'd be hung it up Sean and he'd be like, yo, yeah, your hair kind of smells stink. There was definitely a problem. I was always walking with a tin of Altoids because I was conscious of that cigarette breath. I had a bottle of Febreze in my car, so I would spray out the car with Febreze. My nail polish, like I couldn't wear white nail polish because I smoked so much that the nail polish would turn yellow. My teeth, like I was like, oh, I really want to whiten my teeth, but I can't bother because I know that it would they'd get back brown again. Like, look here now, man. There was all kind, like, my life revolved around smoking. Certain phone calls I had to be smoking. In the morning, like, I look forward to my coffee and my cigarette while driving in the car to the gym. Like, that was the best cigarette in the, yo. All when I'm packing to go away, that packing to go away cigarette. Like, he come downstairs, he's smoking his cigarette, and you're like, did I pack the panties? Yeah. Oh yes, I need that scarf. Yeah. Yeah, like everything was a celebration. Everything was a celebration. You just smoke and celebrate. You finish cook the dinner, you smoke a cigarette. You finish eat the dinner, smoke a cigarette. You're about to go to bed, smoke a cigarette. You wake up in the morning, smoke a cigarette. You driving in the car, smoke a cigarette.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit.
Like, it was like everything was, it was like your cigarette was a reward. It was so crazy. Anyway, 2013, I said, I'm going to quit too. So I went to my doctor and I was talking to him. I said, you know, I'm really ready to quit. I don't like how I'm looking. I don't like how I feel. My skin almost looked gray. My lips were so thin. Like, I don't know if it was a constant pressing on the cigarette. My lips had gotten thin. My lips were very dark. Look here. So I said to the doctor, if I don't quit for anything, it's because my vein. I don't want to look like this gray color skin. So he gave me the prescription for, what was the generic one? Shantrix. So when you get your Shantrix now, it almost looks like a fold-out booklet, and it had 12 weeks. So week 1 was on one page, and it had your morning and night tablets for week 1. Week 2 was on another page, and it kind of like folds out into this 12-week thing. From what I remember, it was 28,000 Jamaican dollars. $28,000 on a teacher's salary in 2013. That's enough money, you know. That is a whole heap of money. That's a whole heap of money now. So I said, you know what? I'm not wasting my good money. I work really hard. Like, I'm not gonna waste my money. So for the first 2 weeks of taking this tablet, this Shantrix, you are allowed to smoke. So for the first week now, I'm like smoking cigarette, I'm not business, and no, that's not true. It's not that I didn't business. It's just that I was more conscious now, but I was still smoking. And Timmy said to me, "Yo, you see in the second week, when you start that first the first tablet, you see when you take that first cigarette, it is the worst taste you have ever tasted in your life, and you will never forget that taste. Like, it is disgusting." So I was like, yeah, how come I don't like taste a little tingling of it? No, like my cigarettes just taste normal. He said, yeah man, don't worry. Week 2, that taste, man. Woo! He says that is one of the reasons why you quit, because the taste. I was like, alright, cool. So now I start getting scared of week 2, and I'm like, yo, what kind of taste is this? I want to taste doodle in my mouth. Like, I don't like, what could this taste be that's so disgusting? Week 2 rolls around, I take my first tablet, and I just did not smoke again. I didn't know what that taste would feel like. I didn't want to know. And I felt like this was time. So in my second week of taking the Henriques, that was when I quit. I don't remember the exact month. I just know it was 2013, within the late quarter of the year. And that was my last cigarette. And I want to tell you, I do miss it, because I smoked for a majority of my life. And I feel like it was that companion. And I do miss it now. And it was hard at first, because I would be around people that smoked, like my dad, or at the time I didn't have any kids, so I would go out a lot, and people were out and people were smoking, and friends of mine would smoke, and I would stand up right beside them, or I would be talking to them and they'd be smoking. And the side effects of the tablet, of the Henriques were really, really weird. So the dreams that they tell you about, the dreams are super weird, and they feel so real. And you just wake up and it's almost like you're exhausted, because these dreams, they were crazy. They were really, really crazy. Usually I have very vivid dreams, and every now and then I have a little crazy dream. I'm like, oh, that was cool. These were like, what the hell? Like, whoa. And then the zoning out. So I remember when my brother said he'd wake up a little bit early, take his tablet, go back to sleep, and then, his alarm would go off later on and he'd go about his day. And I remember that feeling too. And it was just like this zone out. And Sean caught me one day, like he saw it. Like I was putting on my sneakers to go to the gym, and I paused, and I was just there with the sock halfway up, my foot in the air, and I just paused. And Sean came in the room and he was like looking at me, and he's like, Joe, are you okay? And I was like, oh, look, sorry. I was like, sorry, like I do know that sometimes I zone out, it's his tablet, but because I'm now on it, even though I've stopped smoking, I'm afraid to stop taking the tablet, because I don't know if it's like blocking the receptors of the tobacco. So I'm still taking this tablet. And then what party was it? I go to like a big people party, like a lunch or something. I go out and I see my mom's friend and a friend of mine together. This party, like, a lunch, you take your auntie, or you take your mommy's friend, or you take your mom, or whatever. And I was walking in and I looked at them and I was like, and I walked right past them. So I'm in the party and I'm now deciding what to drink, because my drink was white rum, and I have white rum with my Craven A. And I started smoking Craven A because the Rothmans started getting expensive, and the Craven A was just short and sweet. So Craven A and white rum. Real old rum head. Anyway, so I'm now saying to myself, well, now what do I drink? If I drink the white rum, I'm gonna miss the cigarette. Like, so this is what I zone out. I zone out so hard. Apparently the woman was in front of me asking me all of these questions, and I'm in my head at the bar going, I think I'll drink Prosecco or wine. So in my head I'm having a full-blown conversation. I've zoned out. I don't care what is going on around me, and my mother's friend is speaking to me. I guess she was asking me like, who you just passed me and don't tell me hi. Anyway, I'm going on like a damn idiot. Well, no, I'm just in my head I'm going on. Anyway, after I zone out now, I kind of realized what happened. So I was like, I went back up to her and I was like, hey, sorry, I'm on some medication, and I just feel really weird, but sorry, what's up, blah 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 blah, very, and I tried to joke it off, but she didn't think it was funny. So the next day she calls my mother, and I don't know how many of you know my mother, but she's like the sweetest librarian, God-fearing, like honestly, she's such a good woman. So the lady calls my mom and she's like, Nandi, your daughter you know, your daughter's on medication and she's totally drugged out. So mom is like, yeah, you know, it's just for a short while, you know, it won't be for long, so she'll be fine, don't worry about it. We're so proud of her though, but you know, the drugs, we're just see with her. So mommy is talking about one thing, the lady talking about real drugs, mommy talking about the medicational drugs. Anyway, the conversation was so aloof. And I realized then that, well, of course there were the rumors. Jodi dropped out. So I was a little conscious about that, you know, going out into social spaces, and you know, when I zone out because of the medication that I'm on, that people are going to think that I'm weird, people are going to think that I'm on drugs, you know, this weird conversation that mommy had about me being on my drugs. And I kind of made it very known to my friends. I'm like, listen, I'm trying to stop smoking, I'm taking this drug and the side effects are kind of irritating me. I didn't think I would react this way, but you know, sometimes I zone out. You either leave me, let me finish my conversation in my head, or you can just tap me. It's not like I'm gonna be like, ah. Anyway, we passed that. I reached to week 8 on the Henriques, and you know, I just felt so proud. Every time I finished a week, you know, I'm like, wow, I did it. I never lapsed. I never smoked a cigarette in between. I felt the cravings. I definitely felt the cravings, but I never like reverted. I never took that cigarette. There were a couple times where I took a puff of a spliff, but that's not me. The whole weed smoking thing is not me. At the time, vaping was not really around. Like there was no. I'm sure you saw me take a little puff off of my Nutra Air Peppermint Breeze, which you're basically smoking peppermint. There's no tobacco in it. But there was none of those things. It was, I quit smoking. I reached to week 8 on my Henriques and I said, you know what? I don't want to take this pill anymore. I don't like how it makes me feel. I think I'm strong enough to finish the tablets. I don't think I'm going to go back to smoking. And I remember how I came to that realization that I was okay to come off the tablets. I had a dream, and in that dream, I was smoking. And I was so disappointed in myself. I was so disappointed. Because now in the dream, I've woken up and I'm like, sorry. In the dream, I was smoking. And then it was the next day in the dream. And I was like, I can't believe I smoked yesterday. I've come so far. I can't believe I smoked. And I felt like this weight. And I just felt so horrible in the dream. And in the dream, I was like, no man, I'm gonna wake up. You know those weird dreams where I didn't wake up. And I was like, I really fucked it up, man. I came so far. Anyway, I woke up. And I was just like, yo, oh my gosh, thank goodness that was a dream, because I don't know what I would have done. Like, I felt really disappointed in myself, like super disappointed. Anyway, I said week 8, I don't need it anymore. I'm not gonna revert. I like how I look. I like how I feel. I don't have that grayness in my face. The purple from my lips. So what that was a lack of oxygen getting to my lips. My lips were now pink instead of purple. I'd burnt my lips in a couple places, so there was like an even darker purple on my lips from when I guess I smoked the cigarette down too much. That had gone. And cheeks were nice and pink and rosy. My hair actually smelled like the conditioner that I use and not like tobacco. And I noticed, like, when I got into my car or into bed, my clothes and the things that I constantly rub and touch on didn't smell like cigarette. They smelled like my lotion or my hair products or like Febreze, but they didn't smell like cigarette. And it was actually nice to go into my car and, you know, I could turn on the AC and it's not like a little nicotine hot box in there. So yes, so that's smoking, and that was in 2013. I have never had another cigarette. So that's 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I've gone 8 years nicotine free, and I just want to say that I feel good, I smell good, clean skin, yes, smell good, yeah.
Nothing like that for boss about. Something like that for boss about.
And and I feel like I now have the energy to do certain things. So whereas before I'd get a little winded, or sometimes I couldn't taste things so good because that whole, there's, how many days? 7,000 chemicals in a cigarette. And some of those chemicals include, what is the one that can kill you off? Not niacinamide, that's really good for your skin. Cyanide. Is it cyanide? Anyway, of the 7,000 chemicals, like you don't even want one of those in your body. You know what I mean? So you have the tar, you have the nicotine, you have all of these things that are all carcinogenic, which is cancer causing. Why do you want that in your body? And I don't want to be doing anything that has such a hold on me where I'm like, well, I need a cigarette. So I'm glad I quit. I'm really glad that I quit. And I don't nag anybody around me. Like I don't nag my dad to quit, because I remember when my mom would like break my cigarettes in half, I would be so pissed off. But I remember people nagging me, why do you stop smoking? You don't say you stink. I don't nag anybody. And I'm like, in your own time, you'll come around to it. But I just want to like encourage anybody out there who smokes to let you know that it's such a good feeling when something that had such a hold on you is like gone. Like I don't think of smoking. I don't think of, oh, okay, I'm going out tonight, I'm going to need 2 packs of cigarettes, I need 2 lighter, I need who teeth my lighter, alright, who bought lighter, can I have my lighter, excuse me, yes, can I have my lighter, because say people that take your lighter left, right and center. Alright, it's a weekend, or it's a long weekend, I need a carton of cigarettes, or every time I travel, I have to make sure I reach the airport 5 minutes in advance because I need to run upstairs and get my cigarettes. Yo, my husband got through enough with me, How he didn't want to hug me up all the time? Yo, I did stinking like a little Craven A smoke pack. So yeah, I just want to encourage anybody who wants to stop smoking, like especially now with Corona, the whole, my lungs, I feel like I can breathe, I feel good, I feel like I can do all of these exercises and not feel as winded as I used to. Maybe you could set a quick date, set a quick date and then set your date and be like, this is the day I'm going to quit. I am done with cigarettes. But I just want to let you know that was my story about quitting smoking. And I'm really, really glad I quit, because the cancer caused by cigarette smoke is a leading cause of, leading cause of preventable deaths in the US. So cigarette smoking is a leading cause of preventable deaths in the US. Preventable. And then not only that, how much is for a pack of cigarettes now? Like, that's a lot of money. I remember one time when I was smoking, I was saying to myself, all right, I'll run my AC more if I quit smoking because I'd have that extra money to put gas in my car. Smoking is so expensive. Anyway, guys, I just want to empower you and let you know that you can do it, and that little cigarette, just honestly, it's not worth it, especially now where you could get so sick and your lungs, you need your lung capacity to be able to breathe and to fight off the corona. And yeah, if I can do it, you can do it too, because I used to smoke a whole heap of cigarettes, like right down to the butt. I'll cut off butter cigarette because I don't want to filter it. Yo, I'm hardcore, man. Oh, good Lord. I don't know. Listen. Anyway, so one of the things I wanted to show you guys, I have these just simply if I'm going out drinking, I may miss the hand-to-mouth action. Does not mean I will revert and smoke a cigarette. I just may want to look cool. So I have these by Air, and it has absolutely no tobacco, no tar, no nicotine. I don't even know what is in here. It's like maybe baby powder. I honestly, if you feel like smoking, maybe you know what? It's a hand-to-mouth action. When I'm drinking, I miss the hand-to-mouth action, or I don't know. I have one of these in my bag. I bought them like a month ago. I'll probably never use it again. But if you want, you can try it out. See if you could swap out some cancer-causing tobacco cigarettes for a little bit of peppermint breeze, or some spearmint, or a little mint, or whatever they put in those things. But not vaping. I would not switch from cigarette smoking to vaping because it's still the same thing. And then when you like say big Craven A, so you say, okay, you don't want to smoke as much nicotine, so you buy the cigarettes that say less tobacco or light. you are going to be pulling that cigarette to be able to get the same amount of nicotine that you're used to, and you're going to be buying more cigarettes because you're still going to feel the need to fill the addiction for the amount of nicotine you were getting before. So you're going to be buying more cigarettes and pulling even harder on that cigarette. So no matter go down to, oh, I'm going to go from this to the lights. That don't make no sense. Set a date, try and quit, and your hair will thank you, your lips will thank you, your skin. Like when I looked, my skin was gray. My hair was always stink. I smelled like a little walking box of Craven A. Anyway guys, that's my story for today. I hope you had a good time listening to my little story time, and I'm just trying to drag it out right now. Anyway, if you're still here guys, please make sure you like the video, and of course make sure you subscribe and drop a comment down below. Do you smoke? Will you ever stop smoking? Do you smoke cigarettes? Or do you smoke a little ganja? Let me know. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. See you soon. Bye!